let's head to South Africa now and speak to Hulisu Namarumela, who is a sports journalist based in South Africa. He's been following the South African national team very closely. South Africa found themselves in Group E, and they are, returning to the tournament after missing out in previous edition. And their coach, Hugo Broos, is one who is experienced on the continent. And after helping South Africa qualify for the AFCON, we'll be hoping that he'll be able to get them their first title in a very long time. Now, Uliso, thank you very much for joining us. Just my first question, though, what have you picked up in the camp of South Africa at the moment? Have they arrived in Ivory Coast? If you can just unmute yourself so we can hear you.
Good evening to you and good evening to all your viewers. South Africa, the Bafana are still in South Africa. They're still in the Gauteng province. They will be leaving for the Ivory Coast tomorrow morning. They had a game today that they played against Lesotho. That game ended in a 0-0 draw. What we and other journalists obviously picked up from that game was the fact that it was probably the strongest available side from the 23-man squad that obviously Hugo Broos has in his camp at the moment now. Obviously, the two players who did not make it or who were not available for that game are goalkeeper Ronwen Williams, who plays for Mamelodi Sundowns, as well as Mutobi Mvala, who is centre-back, sometimes a defensive midfielder for Mamelodi Sundowns, who, by the way, are two really big players for Hugo Broos. The communication that we got from the association about an hour or two ago was that Hugo Broos will be taking Mutobi Mvala with him to Ivory Coast, so there won't be any late addition into the squad because he's got an injury at the moment, but the hope is that he recovers well in time before South Africa plays their first game.
But in terms of the mood in South Africa, though, are the expectations so high for the team to do well, especially considering the coach who's leading the charge in Ivory Coast?
Look, the fact that South Africa has Bafana have only, I think since Hugo came, they've only lost one match. I think it does give people a little bit of hope on him as the coach, not necessarily on the team. When it comes to national teams here in South Africa, there's the Springboks and then there's everyone else. The Springboks get all the confidence because of what they've done at the world stage. But when it comes to Bafana, it's always we will see what happens if they go there and do something. So in terms of confidence, I think sport lovers get behind the national team because it is their team, but the general public, there isn't a lot of confidence in this Bafana team from what they've done before and also what people think these players can achieve.
But I mean, just looking at the group they find themselves in, Group E, Tunisia is in there, Mali is in there, Namibia is in there. Of course, on the face of it, you were thinking Mali, Tunisia might be, pointed as the favorite to advance. I mean, is that what you're perceiving, or you think just maybe South Africa can cause an upset somewhere in there, or that is what it is?
Look, if you look at the history of Bafana at these kind of competitions, they don't like doing things the easy way. So we might all be thinking that they will definitely get the 3 points against Namibia, and it might not actually work out that way. They might even beat Tunisia or Mali, but the general feeling that you get from the public in South Africa and us obviously having the knowledge of the other two teams that we consider to be the favorites in this group, I think a lot of people, probably even in the Bafana camp, there might be talks that we are expecting the likes of Mali and Tunisia to go through. I think preferably South Africa would have preferred to start with Namibia because they take a bit of time to warm up when they go to these kind of competitions. So starting right off the bat with the team like Mali, I think it might be a little bit tough on them. fans are getting behind the team because they have to. It's the national team. But in terms of confidence and whether they can get out of the group stages, especially without someone like Lyle Foster in the team, there isn't a lot of confidence in the striking force that we're taking to Cote d'Ivoire.
But let's talk about the reports that emerged just recently about the fact that the FA was saying that in the event the national team wins the tournament, you're going to give the entire money to them. Can you confirm this story? And if it is indeed true, how have the players been receiving this?
Look, I think even in Ghana, this kind of story, this is a typical African before a big competition kind of story, isn't it? So we had communication from the president of the South African Football Association about 3-4 days ago. Is it that the $7 million, which I think equates to about 130 South African rands, was going to be given to the players as bonus. As a bonus, there was a memorandum of understanding that was signed between the association as well as the players. We did see all of that. It was all in camera. Then the president of the association, Denis Jordan, went on one of the local TV stations. I think later that day or the day after. Sort of like correcting that, no, we didn't say we're going to give them all the money. We did say, though, that of the money that we will get from that, there will be bonuses. And I think what the FA was trying to do was to get in front of the narrative. If you remember what happened with Banyana when they went to the World Cup down under a couple of last year. So I think they were just trying to get ahead of the narrative, but it did not work out the way they had expected it to work out. It surprised me at first that they were going to give the national team all the winnings from the tournament, because it has never happened in the history of our country. We see it with local teams like Mamelodi Sundowns. If they win, the cash they just give the playing personnel as well as the technical team. So I don't know if it was an issue of articulation. Maybe the president did not articulate it the way he wanted it to, but when it was announced, or when he said it, when the way we received it, it was quite surprising that they will give all the winnings to Bafana Bafana, and to the general public also. It was really surprising because no one was thinking that Bafana Bafana can go all the way. But look, stranger things have happened in this competition.
But I mean, indeed, strange things have happened in this competition, though. But for you personally, though, what is your realistic expectation of the team going into Ivory Coast?
Look, I expect them to get out of the group. To be honest with you, if they get out of the group, look, after that, everything now becomes a coin toss. It's knockout football. Yeah. We the last time, I think it was in Egypt, we beat Egypt and went through to the quarterfinals. So if they could be able to get out of that group, I think anything can happen from that. What I expect from them will be for them to get out of the group. Anything less than that will be a failure. We used to have a minister of sports about 10 years ago who called the Bafana team that went to an AFCON and came back without scoring a goal. He called them a bunch of losers. So I think we might need him to hold another press conference if they don't get out of this group. But the expectation for me personally and my colleagues down here in South Africa is that, look, get out of the group stage, and everything in the knockout phase, just make sure that you don't play Nigeria.
So, I mean, just qualifying out of the group stage for you, if round of 16, they get to that stage, would that be considered success for you? Or
no,
it is clinching the trophy, ultimate?
No. Obviously, success will be going into the later stage of the competition. And to be honest with you, we've got this pride and bravado in South Africa that we are a proper football nation that to be able to challenge for this title. So for it, I don't think it won't be a success to me, but it is the very least that they can do if they get to the last 16. Also, you looking at the quality or the lack thereof that we have in this country. You know, we will be boosted by the fact that most of the players that will be in the 11, or most of the players that are in the squad are Mamelodi Sundowns players who have really good experience of playing in the CAF club competitions on the continent.
Yeah.
But you do not, in terms of pedigree, in terms of quality, we look at other African countries that might the top 8 countries on the continent. Can we look at those teams and think that we can match them toe to toe in terms of numbers? It's really difficult to back Bafana Bafana against those kind of teams. So if they get to the last 16, I think a lot of people will be like, okay, at least they got out of the group. They didn't come back with the losing 16 teams.
Well, interesting. Thank you very much, Ulisu. We will definitely keep in touch in the course of the tournament and see how far Bafana Bafana will do. And just away from Bafana Bafana, though, the Black Stars landed earlier today in Ivory Coast as they set to begin their campaign against Cape Verde on Sunday over there, and they were caught in that beautiful Kente. Wonderful reception they received in Abidjan when they landed there, and of course they'll be camping in a part of the city there, and they'll be looking to start their campaign on Sunday. The entire 27-man squad were there to join the team to fly. And of course, prior to that, they met the president at a dinner where the president tasked them to do their very best to end the country's 42-year wait for the AFCON title. Well, meanwhile, and just away from that though, former Ghana midfielder Lion Kitson has been speaking about the seeming lack of experience in the Black Stars team. Now, about half of the players in that Black Star squad have not played at the tournament before, and the former Ghana international believes that the inexperience among some players in the Black Star squad will not affect the team's performance at the tournament.
Yeah, for me, I think one thing they should know, that they're playing for Ghana. And Ghana, a lot of people have so much respect for them, and Ghanaians are also expecting a lot from them. You know, they know. They've come to Ghana, they've played, qualified in Ghana, so they know how Ghanaians love the game. You know, talking about experience, each and every player that is in the squad now have played a lot of games in Europe. They've played under a lot of pressure. So talking about pressure and all that, I don't think we will have the players who have. So for me, I was so excited to see him being part of the team so that he can at least achieve something before he leaves the national team. You know, so I don't think they are going to have problems because of their first appearance, because in their clubs they play in front of a lot of massive fans.
Well, that's all we have for you on Prime Sports. And now we're Razak Musbat. We've got more stories for you on myjoyonline.com. Please do have a lovely evening.